Alrighty. All right. Greetings, dear Sagittarius. This is you. Over there is Tarot Lumination, and this is your love and relationship mini report for July 2018. Before we get stuck into it, I wanted to give you a few notes from Astrobabble over here. It's just calendar moments, okay? Sagittarius, there's a whole bunch of eclipses going on coming up soon, and that'll be it for the year for the eclipses. And when it comes to love and relationship, they're not hitting you directly in those departments in the astrology, but the eclipses are still there anyway, and they will impact your life one way somehow or another. So we might as well bring some notes to this, okay? First of all, let's just get the dates sorted out. Let's just go straight over here. July 12th, the Cancer new moon eclipse, okay? Mark your calendar. The full moon eclipse, July 27th. The Leo Aquarius full moon eclipse. The moon is in Aquarius, the sun is in Leo. Let's just look at some astro doodles, okay? Okay, let's have a look at this. This is just for fun, okay? These are my personal notes, and I'm just sharing them with you. They look kind of scary and weird and messy, but you know, they're just for my own notes and understanding. I'm not going to talk about this stuff here or this stuff here. Those are out of range of July. It's to do with the moons and the eclipses. Just focus on July here for now. The date we said first, July 12th. There is the Cancer new moon eclipse. It's over there in your 8th house, okay? That's intimacy, the house of let's just say it, physical intimacy. Also, it's the house of joint resources. It's the house of where, you know, what happens when people become couples? Okay, that's one thing. Oh, I fall in love. Hey, let's go live together. Oh, hey, let's get married. Now you're actually living together, and you're creating this one thing. It's the joint resources, the joint operation, the mutual merger between self and other that creates a new thing. You can call it intimacy, but it's sort of like joint resources. It's the energy of sexuality. That's how more human beings are created. Your resources combine with a significant other in a very special way, and it creates a new person. So that's happening over here, up here in your 8th house. So your sense of intimacy and deep shared resources might go through some radical shifts, or start at least the journey beginning here. 2019 is when it really picks up. So shifts in intimacy, okay? Shared resources. It also includes deep soul healing, okay? Also, the other thing over here with this one, let's mark this one. This is the Aquarius full moon eclipse right at the end of the month, July 27th, okay? Over here, it's the Leo Aquarius axis on your 3rd and 9th house. Okay, it's nothing much to do with romance and love and everything, but it is an eclipse, and it is going to impact your life one way or another, especially when it comes to fundamental communications, speaking, listening, how you speak, how you listen, what is it you hear, what is it you say, understanding. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything more. I don't want to dwell on that with you guys. I want to go straight into the readings, okay? Now, some of the other signs, of course, did require a little bit more background, like the Capricorn Cancers and the Leo Aquarius. Those folks are, you know, they're getting it. We're getting those eclipses head on, so it is significant that I pointed out to you guys. So let's get rolling here. Cards are well shuffled in advance. You know that. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. You know the drill if you've done this before. We're going to use the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread here, okay? The idea is that there's you, Sagittarius, there's a significant other, and then there's a third entity, the relationship itself. And in a loving relationship, both parties are aware of this, and they conduct themselves through the relationship for the benefit of the relationship, because it's the relationship that holds them together. You'll see in just a moment, okay? Here we go. Cards are now officially shuffled. Please bring in your spirit guides, your team, your angels, all of that. We do that here at Terra Illumination. It is a shared experience. Okay, let's just really cut it up. Okay, there we go. All right. You'll see in just a moment. Here we go. Imagine you're a cell phone or a radio or something, and you're just radiating energy. Love included, relationship included. What happens? If you're a single, you can even watch this. If you understand the laws of attraction and understand that what you radiate in some way comes back at you somehow. We're just stretching it here. This is mostly for people who are already coupled up, but you can certainly overlay this with the question of what if? Over here, a significant other, chosen other. Over here, deep inside of you, Sagittarius, deep inside of the other, and at the core, the relationship itself. So I hope you can see the crucible here. Okay, this is a structure. A crucible is a very, very strong structure, usually ceramic, that can withstand tremendous pressures, alchemical pressures that happen inside of a relationship as we go through the natural processes of intimacy and separation. Intimacy and separation. In this case, with the July new moon eclipse, deep intimacy, which will trigger a sensation of deep separation too. So please be aware of that heads on, going straight in. All right. Let's have a look at circumstantial energy. Call it the weather. Okay. With the Knight of Wands here, my feeling is that in some ways you might feel extra lucky this month, Sagittarius, because the Leo Aquarius eclipses are kind of favorable for you because they're naturally comfortable with you, with the trines and the sextiles in the astrology. So it might make you feel invigorated, enlivened in such a way that it's almost like getting a big green light to go for it. Whatever it is that inspires you in your love life, in your relationship dynamics, perhaps stuff that's been stagnant for a long time, it gets really, really shaken up, and all of a sudden you feel like, wow, I can really go for it. I can take full advantage of this. So that's good news for you. Again, I'm not suggesting whether it's, directly to do with your love life, but let's go here. This eclipse axis here, the Leo Aquarius eclipse, okay? That's very supportive for you. It's very, very comfortable for you. It's going to be radical change some way, somehow. Eclipse things out and eclipse things in, but it's in harmonious signs with you. So the angles are good, all right? So it could be inspiring. That's all I'm suggesting here. And that could have like ripple effects, secondary impacts on your love and relationships, okay? What are you radiating here? Okay, wow. Ha ha ha. With the King of Wands, maybe you're very, very in tune with all this. Maybe you sense it at a very deep, deep soul level. Like, wow, this is a serious moment for me, Sagittarius. Wow. Whew. It's awesome. Where it's like you, gosh, I'm really surprised at this. And honestly, Sagittarius, it never occurred to me, but it looks like you would be coming really closely into alignment with like your majestic, let's say they call it whatever they call it, the divine masculine, gets into some kind of sense of, let's say, majesty or affirmation that you're on path some way, somehow. Now, is this directly with love and relationships? Personally, I don't feel it, but I feel it is with you in such a way that it will permeate through to your love and relationships. So it looks to me like no matter how challenging things might be in any aspect of your life right now, including love and relationship, you're handling it very well, doing an extremely good job of maintaining your dignity, your self-respect, of being the inspiration for others, and leading them and guiding them in ways that a lot of others won't be able to handle. These eclipses are really going to shake up a lot of people. And if you are poised and ready and tuned in and ready to go with it, and you're already like sensing the energy in the environment around you as very favorable to trigger your natural gifts and talents to truly, truly shine at this level, that's awesome. Now, this isn't just like a random thing. This is to be able to radiate at this energy. It takes a lot of work, and it means you've done a lot of work on yourself to be able to carry yourself with this degree of self-respect, self-love, and majesty. It's not pompous, it's not overbearing, it's not controlling, it's not manipulative or any way. It's just very magnanimous type of energy here. It's like being if you're a really good person, it's the energy where other people want to be with you and around you because you have something that they don't have right now, some kind of sense of courage and inspiration, leadership, which gives other people a feeling that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay some way, somehow. Sagittarius has figured it out. We don't necessarily know how, but it's going to be okay because Sagittarius is already living it. Let's have a look. What are they radiating? Okay, more wands. Wow. Okay. Some people think of this as one of the turn-on cards, one of the vivid expressions of physicality in relationship, passion, romance, sexual expression. In some ways, I agree with that. I think this is much more to do with just the raw release of energy, of the joy of being alive and the joy of being able to express and the desire to express and like optimize oneself here. So you, Sagittarius, may be relating with someone where you guys really, really click somewhere, somehow, at some certain like trigger point in your relationship. There is something that clicks really, really well. Again, without going into the astrology too much, it might be something to do with these eclipses, in particular the dates here, July 12th and July 27th, especially the lead up to the 12th and the lead up to the 27th, okay? That's where you would feel the energy of that story, and you'd feel the energy of that story, okay? So this might be, for all we know, this might be a little bit of a red hot moment in terms of your romantic history right now, where in terms of we intimate, we separate, we intimate, and we separate. This could be a moment of intimacy where it is, again, closely related to the eclipses, where the energy of intimacy itself, especially when it's expressed romantically, you know, under the sheets, under the covers, or wherever you do it, however you guys like to do it. If you're at that age, at that point in life where you do those things and you like to enjoy each other's bodies physically and you actually enjoy, you get off on each other, so to speak, that's encouraging. And it might be very invigorating and new and inspiring. Perhaps there's been a really empty patch for a long time and suddenly things sort of go click and you're back in gear again. So that's encouraging. It could also indicate here, my feeling with this energy is that this is perhaps long awaited. And you know how couples go through dry patches and then if something happens, they click again. It's just like, wow, you get to start all over. The eclipses wash away and block anything and everything that was old and redundant, doesn't belong to you anymore, and ushers in the gateway to the new stuff. Out with the old, in with the new. Whatever is not yours anymore, Sagittarius, is going. Whatever is yours is coming to you. Let's have a look. What are you radiating deep down? Okay, well, with the Five of Swords here, my feeling is to be very careful. Okay? Because if things are in other words, if everything seems to be great and it's all okay, and you're getting swept along with the passion of the moment and the big shifts in the energy, that's great. That's fine. Maybe it's great for you. Maybe it's great for them. And they're feeling it. They want to share that with you and you want to share that with them. All I'm suggesting is that if deep down inside of you, there are issues that are either being ignored or swept away or neglected or put aside for whatever reason that are not healthy when it comes to communications and in relationship, with the Five of Swords here. In other words, you know, if you had that sort of party atmosphere for a while, it can mask over a lot of problems. And the thing is, when that energy fizzles and you know, the bubbles have gone from the champagne, that kind of feel, then there might be something still simmering deep inside which is not being addressed. And that really, really needs to be addressed, and that might come out later. Uh, so we'll see. I'm not too sure about that. But with the Five of Swords, if there are like hidden agendas here, or if you've got, let's say, you know how Sagittarius is often the wise one, the right one, and you just come out with it. And it's a little bit disturbing or annoying or upsetting for others because you're coming out with sort of blunt truths and realities that everybody needs to know, but it's just a question of how are they being made known. And for you, it means just like being Sagittarius. Well, people need to know this stuff. How come you don't know it? How come I have to tell you? And so what can happen is, like you deep down inside could be, like, to me it feels like simmering. To me it feels almost like this is unconscious energy, because this is such this is, to me, feels like such lively, encouraging, supportive energy that you would just naturally want to go with it, to the point where if you do have lingering issues where you've been battling things out with a significant other, Sagittarius, and they're kind of reciprocating with you, and it's just been very difficult and very, very awkward, and for whatever reason the vibrations are good now, but this is still buried and hidden inside of you, that's still a problem. It's not going to go away because of the eclipses. There's something, if this is still left over after the eclipses, then this is going to eventually have to be addressed. If you're kind of in a stalemate, or if you're in a tit-for-tat situation where whatever they do that upsets you or is not acceptable to you is countered by reciprocal behavior, like, okay, well, if you're going to do that, then I'm going to do this. Ha! And then that just triggers things to get worse. In other words, like, why did you do that? Well, I had to. Well, that's not fair. I'm going to do this. Where does that leave me? So it creates a vibration of futile conflict, irresolvable issues and dynamics that just undermine all the good stuff. And that's a problem. If this is deep inside of you and it's not conscious, that's a problem. This needs to be conscious, okay, so that it can be dealt with. You've got to reveal it to heal it. Okay, let's have a look. What about inside of them? Okay, more wands. Gosh, there's a lot of wands here. Okay, with the Six of Wands here, my feeling is that inside of them, maybe it's some kind of, it's like, to me it feels like almost like lucky winner lottery type of feeling, like, but it's more to do with themselves and how they perceive you in the relationship. If they're not aware of this about you, or if they are ignoring this about you and the relationship because the recent hookups and the recent good vibes are so satisfying that they are, you know how in relationships, when you do have those delicious moments, it's like glue. It's like magic, high-powered healing energy. It can cause huge ripple effects of good love and healing throughout the rest of your whole life, okay? So if something like that is going on, where you're in that zone, it doesn't mean that the underlying issues have been just washed away. They're still there, but you've built up like a sort of an immunity and courage to be able to get through it, but this is going to have to be dealt with. So it feels to me like right now, like if you're in like some kind of like honeymoon state of mind, some kind of passionate, expressive thing going on between you guys, it looks to me like it's triggering that sense inside of them, like, wow, it's just like, to me it feels like it's having satisfying sex life or something like that, where they feel like they've won, they've scored, they've done well. They are appreciating themselves for the joy that they can enjoy inside themselves, and they appreciate you for the joy that you bring to them and the joy that they bring to you. So it's a mutually win-win thing here for them from their perspective. But this is kind of almost the opposite. This is almost lose-lose type energy. So it looks like going deep below the surface here, there's still some serious disparities between you guys that will eventually have to be dealt with. So you might be going through a lot of yum, yum, yum stuff at the moment, which is great. That's wonderful. It's good, loving, healing energy for all of us, okay? And then, like we always do, we intimate, we separate, we intimate, and we separate. We intimate and we separate. Deep down, this has to be dealt with. Let's have a look at the relationship itself, okay? Because the relationship has certain ingredients and qualities that are intolerable. Let's just put it out there. All these wands, it's great to have all the drive, the ambitions, the desires, the goals, and the capacities and the energies to do all this. But if there's something out of whack, out of alignment that has not been addressed, then all the good stuff can come crashing down and it feels like a burden. It's almost like, well, what is the point? What's the point of all this good stuff? What's the point of even trying to kiss and make up if we've had a rough time lately? Let's say we did have a kiss and make up and it went really, really well, but we still haven't dealt with the core issues. In other words, if this is still lingering and there's some kind of deep down unresolved, bitter, resentful, tit for tat thing going on here between you guys, it can actually create a truth, the real truth about a situation, that things are unbearable. There's something unbearable here where in some ways you've done a great job to be able to get it this far, but it's also important to admit when a certain levels, unacceptable levels have been reached. In other words, you can't force a relationship to be the way it should be according to one person's dictates. Okay? So let's have a look. I need to look at some momentum here. I'm a little concerned about this because all these wands, there's so much fiery energy here, and it looks like it's being amplified by the Leo Aquarius eclipses because that's very harmonious. It's like, going out in good weather and things just get better. It just feels to me like with this here and this here, it just feels to me that we're in just like a time period where these shifts are going to happen with the eclipses anyway, but some core issues are not being dealt with, not being resolved. That's a problem. Let's have a look at the momentum here. Okay. To me, again, there's something lingering going on here. There is something, despite your best efforts, Sagittarius, maybe you're doing all the lifting. Maybe you're doing all the work in the relationship to get things happen, to make things go, and they're enjoying the benefits. Or maybe they're doing all the effort and the work and throwing on all the passion, and you're enjoying all the benefits, but it's not being addressed. Like, this might be very, very good in its own way, but when you get below the surface, there are issues that are not being addressed. That's how it feels here. And so, like, when you come back to reality, so to speak, there's no earth cards here or anything like that, but once the energy subsides, like once the bubbles have gone from the champagne and things like calm down a little bit, maybe like middle of September, for example, after the eclipse batch has fallen, subsided a little bit, you get back to the reality check where, listen, we have to get back. We have to figure this stuff out. Yeah, but it was so great. It was so great for a while. Yes, okay. We have to figure this out. We can't ignore this. Yes, we still got the glue. We still know how to make magic happen. That's wonderful. That's great. But we got to sort things out here in order to keep winning, in order to keep the fires burning, so to speak. Because with prospects and momentum here, what could happen is, over the time period of this month and extending into August, you might become aware on a much deeper level about these issues that have perhaps been ignored. And it has to be addressed. Because if the relationship is showing signs of becoming burdensome beyond the point of capability, that's a problem. So you end up with like an emotional slump. It's like having that hangover. If you had such an awesome thing going on here, and then it fizzles out just like every natural thing, you know, every wave event. It kind of fizzles out, and you get to this point and you realize, dang. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What did we do wrong? What are we doing wrong? How are we doing it wrong? Where is all the love? You can't just survive off passion and lust. Where's the love itself, okay? Where's the love itself? And remember, energy flows where attention goes. So if you've been all consumed with ambitions, desires, passions, goals, achievements, winning, succeeding in life for themselves and for you, and it's been going okay, but there's something deeply simmering, resentful, tit for tat thing going on that is contaminating the relationship, then it needs to be understood. To me, it looks like right here, it's not yet understood. It's just being felt at this moment. And eventually, it will have to come up with words and language to explain what this is. Because if you're consumed, like as you go through the month, if you end up consumed by coulda, woulda, shoulda, and whatever's going wrong now, and you're feeling it in your system, but you don't know what this is, and you can't define it, you're not willing to define it because it's like it's below you to do that, then what happens is you start missing out on the love that is there. So this to me looks like it's a very serious problem that really needs to be addressed. It needs to be felt and understood, and language needs to be put to this so that you can figure it out for yourselves as a couple, as a relationship, and get back to what really, really counts. What is it that defines love for you guys? How do you define love for you, Sagittarius, in the context of this relationship? And be willing to ask them, dear sweetheart, how do you define love in our relationship? What does that look like for you? And eventually you get back to the loving position. You focus your attention on what's really important. A little tiny miniature Ace of Cups, for example, okay? It just might be awkward to do that because if this is so deep and simmering and this has been so good, the last thing you want to do is deal with this and this and this. But I feel it has to happen at some point. So I'm hoping that the eclipses are going to shake you and wake you up so that by the end of July, coming into August, I'll just do a leapfrog here, okay? August 11th, okay, let's go up here, okay? The new moon eclipse, August 11th, 2018, okay? And it's way beyond this reading here. But the point is, it's a double Leo thing, okay? It's Leo sun, Leo moon, and it might wake you up. It's in the ninth house, your natural home. So it might you might wake up to the wisdom of this. Let's say there's some kind of wisdom contained here in the reading that doesn't make any sense right now, but it will become much more apparent towards the end of the month and especially into August, okay? I'm sorry to stretch it out like that. I wish I could do sometimes like the fortune tell you and tell you, oh, this and this and this is going to happen and that and that and that's going to happen, and so be it. We don't do that at Tarot Illumination. All we're doing is reading a story here, and you guys have to reinterpret it and make your own decisions, okay? So that is a caveat. All right, let's leave it at that. I don't want to get too excited about this, and I don't want to like drown this in woe and misery. I think all of this can be dealt with. All of this can be solved. It's just, you know, chapters of life, and you'll deal with it. Just please mark your calendar for these dates, especially July 12th, July 27th, and August 11th, okay? And then observe yourself through all of this and see how this little story relates with you. Okay, thank you so much, Sagittarius. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings or scare you or, you know, take the wind out of your sails. All right, bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Hold on, I need to rearrange that. It's not part of the reading exactly. Okay, there we go.